All right, gentlemen, appreciate y'all for being here. I mean, this might be the best podcast that I've done to date.
Bro, don't flatter
For
us.
real,
No,
like-
thank you for making this happen.
Of course.
Kato on the track.
I mean, everyone
Kato
knows.
on the track.
Kato on the track.
Everyone knows the legendary Wyclef Jean. Just introduce yourselves for everyone that's listening to this.
I always say Wyclef Jean, not Wyclef Jean. Don't fuck up my name.
Facts.
I always say Jaeson Ma, not Jaeson Ma. Don't screw up my name, homie. No. It's Jason with an E. Jason with an E.
Yeah, Jason with an E.
That's right.
So you both kind of come from different worlds. I mean, Jason, you're like in tech,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship. Wyclef, you are a musician. Everyone knows you for your music, but you've kind of transitioned into the entrepreneurship world and the tech space. I've heard y'all say that the music industry is dead. Explain that. Like, what do you mean by that?
So I'm gonna set it off. So I think like when we speak of like tech, right? So my first album, well, the second album was The Score. The Fugees, The Score. So that literally was done in my uncle's basement.
Wow.
Just to give you like a viewpoint. So in a time where everybody's going to like Sony Music, everyone's on the SSL and all kind of that, right? You got a bunch of kids in the hood. And we like, yo, if we used to like, you know, if a VCR was broken, we had to open it up and fix it and get the money. How hard is it going to be, you know, to open up a S900 Akai? How? Because we couldn't afford the big stuff.
Yeah.
So we went and bought a lot of equipment, me and my cousin Jerry, Wonder, Renell. And this equipment wasn't the best equipment. And we fixed it up. We built patch bays in the basement. We built like sound booths in the basement. Right? So now keep in mind, so from nothing, right? So it's literally like you're coding backwards because it's like before you even know the math, you're like just guessing things and you're like, okay, I think this will go with this. So like it gets even crazier. Like when y'all hear the score and y'all hear records like Killing Me Softly, like that's me sitting behind the board doing the math in my head for like, okay, 1 minute in, I'm gonna pull the bass out. This minute in, I'm gonna pull, you know, I'm gonna put the keys in. Okay, this is the bridge. Boom, this is all manually like handmade, right?
Crazy.
So you go from this world to a world where, you know, earlier you was talking about the program that you used, right? So literally, I've went from the conversion of hardware to software. And where we at right now is sort of like there's so much information out there where what used to take you a long time to do, being that you could do it so fast,
Right.
a lot of like just the raw art is just missing. You see what I'm saying to you? So that's sort of like, I don't feel like music is alive.
Right.
Like we in an era where it's like some of the best music. The algorithm though is not putting the best music first, right? So you gotta literally like search for it. And guess what? And the best artists, like when you look at Fugees, you look at some of like your favorites. Yo, we naturally underground.
Right.
We naturally come from a space of indie, right? Anyone that come from that space of art, you defying whatever the modern system is. It always been like that. Amy Winehouse, right? Coming from that space. So I feel like the indies need like people like us that understand that art, right? That respect that art. And says, look, here's a new space where you could completely be yourself and you don't really have to worry about economics, right? Because think about it, we coming up, I'm working every fast food restaurant, right? I want to make 10 T-shirts, right? Then I got to sell these 10 T-shirts out of the trunk of my car with 3 CDs to make that, right? So think about it now. You could stream as much as you want, but you don't own that IP. You're not the master of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying to you? So I think that's in the context of when we saying like the actually idea of like the old style music business is like literally like dead for artists. So no artist should be thinking like that. Every artist should be thinking, I'm my own business. There's no middleman. How do I turn myself into a brand?
Right.
Yeah.
Jason, how you have any thoughts around that or anything you want to add?
I mean, I wouldn't say the music industry is dead, but I do think it's completely broken.
Okay.
And so back to what Clef is saying is that the algorithm has messed up the art of the craft. And I was saying it today that there's Steve Stout quoted this, that he was saying back in the day, talent and fame used to have a relationship. If you were really talented, you might get fame, and the two would go hand in hand. But because of the algorithm, now these creators or these quote unquote artists on TikTok and social media, they get instant fame because of the algorithm without investing necessarily or paying their dues in the talent. Like actually putting in 10,000 hours,
Right.
mastering that craft in the basement,
Right.
and creating something truly creative versus creating for the algorithm, right?
Right.
And so I think that's become a challenge, right? Is how do you actually find true art beyond the noise? And we're saying earlier, just you have your Lizzos, you have your Vic Menses coming out saying there's no song of the summer.
Yeah.
Literally, like there's nothing. What's radio now, right? It's literally an algorithm. And so you got to go back to independent thinking where I'm saying niche is the new mainstream. Like who's your 100?
Yeah.
Who's your 1,000? Who's your church, your community, your village? And he said this first was like Jay-Z, Wu-Tang, Notorious B.I.G., Pac, Fugees. It all started with 100. Underground shows, underground clubs.
Facts.
Selling cassette tapes, CDs, hoodies, direct. We lost that.
Do y'all feel like we need, because this is an argument that I see from a lot of people who talk about the current state of the music business, is that right now we need more gatekeepers. Like, and I understand that sentiment, because I think music has become so accessible to people, and it's become diluted to a point, right? And so anyone can post a TikTok video or share their music on social media and blow up overnight, even if they haven't put in the 10,000 hours. It might be their first song ever. You know what I mean?
And now that they're famous, they don't feel the need or necessity to invest continually in the talent.
Exactly.
Or the art.
Exactly.
Or work hard.
But you know, back in the 90s and the early 2000s, it was a different game where
You got called
you
out.
had gatekeepers, you had labels, hate it or love it. You had major record labels who were investing all this money and time and A&Ring into these new acts. Now we don't have that. So do y'all think that we need more of that? Or do you think that it's just going to continue as like a completely fractured independent game?
Well, I think like the first part to your question is like, what did the gatekeepers do for us? They ain't do nothing for us. I mean, that's the reality. Like, so for me to tell a 20-year-old myself, you need a gatekeeper, he'll put his middle finger up at me and was like, yo, you was like, fuck the gatekeeper.
100%.
And you broke every mold. Like, if I listen to a gatekeeper, them gatekeepers was like, you know, what was this going to November? Right? What was you putting a Philharmonic orchestra on it? And what are you calling that? That's hip hop? What's this? Maria? What urban station gonna play this? Like what is this? This is, you know, gatekeepers, man. They like run all these credit cards and they charge it back on the artist. Gatekeepers, they bring you contracts, and then you're like mad young, and then they be like, don't worry about this, but I got a lawyer for you. And then just go to that lawyer, and that lawyer ends up being a friend. And then next thing you know, you find yourself so the problem is the gatekeepers have lost all credibility. You get what I'm saying to you? That's why you see there be vengeance. Like you be seeing artists be mad at situations, right? So at the end of the day, you're in a situation right now where the art has to just keep elevating, right? And my daddy always say this, man, like you running a marathon, you can't be upset if you fall and someone passes you. Because remember what I'm telling y'all, trust me, greatness will excel. Like no matter what, cause you got like, cause man, I came up, you know what I'm saying? I would stand here like you there and Prince is there and I'm here. You see what I'm saying to you? I'm here, Michael Jackson's there beatboxing. You see what I'm saying? So what does that mean? That means that whether you get it while a person is alive or they pass away, greatness will excel. I look at like an artist like Nipsey Hussle,
Right.
for example, right? That mentality, right? So at the end of the day, I think that what we have to keep doing is giving artists game. And the game that we give you is you are your own business. And in order for you to be your own business, dog, just take time out and learn it for yourself. I think that's the game.
So what do you think is the first step to that? Because we all know that being an independent artist in 2025 is like you got to wear 20 different hats and be able, and sometimes when I talk to a lot of independent artists, it's like overwhelming. They don't know where to start. They don't know where to focus their time and energy. They're trying to be a great artist and just focus on the craft. But then they know the importance of social media and building their brand and being visible and, you know, all these things. And so where do you think an independent artist starts in 2025? What's the first step?
Yo, and straight up, I can answer this. I mean, y'all gotta trust Uncle Wyclef. I started Beyonce. I don't want to sound like Little Richard and tell you I invented rock and roll.
Yeah.
Like, yo, Jeffrey, Young Thug, Wyclef Jean. That's the name of the song. So y'all gotta trust when I tell y'all this. Everything starts off with great art.
Let's go.
Everything starts off with
Facts.
great art. You see, it's like, I was saying that. So think about like a new artist coming out.
Yeah.
Now, think about, so my first single called Back from Abu Dhabi. Me, Rick Ross, French Montana.
Right.
Now, I go, right? I'm using the Logic. I'm using the MP. I pull my OSP out, right? And I'm using digital and I'm using analog, right? In search for a sonic, right? But imagine if I was like, oh man, you know, I ain't gonna learn no Ableton. I'm not gonna learn that, right? So, or a young kid like, man, I could just get a hit on TikTok. That's all I need, right? So then you become helium, right? Because in order to be like real gas, you gotta literally start with just creating the best art. Everyone thinks about what the feature is gonna be, right? So if I'm like, yo, I need you to vibe with me, right? First thing I'm gonna do, I'm letting you know right now, I'm gonna send you like mad stuff. And then based on what I send you, right, then you ain't gonna just be like, oh, let me send a beat. Cause you're like, oh, this is an artist, and you're gonna take your time and you're gonna paint the best picture.
Yeah.
Because it all starts with the art. Now, I'm gonna say another part. You got the art, but homie and homettes, you gotta know the business, right? The business is important. This is not overwhelmed. This is nothing overwhelming about what I'm about to tell you. It's real simple. Wyclef Jean, DJ Khaled, that's my brother. He listening. You already know. What's the difference with us selling cassettes out of a trunk, right? Man, working in a fast food restaurant, then being a security guard, then being a bouncer. I told y'all before the camera got, I was selling I was working for, my boss was Korean. I was working at the beauty supply store. My cousins was selling Nickelback in the car. Don't let me start, because I'm West Indian. I got 100 jobs since I've been 16. So I don't know what that mean about it's overwhelming, homie. But what I'm going to do is, what do we say about the business? The idea was like, yo, after everything we've been through, what does a one-stop shop look like? Somewhere where now the artists can go and they get consignment. This a big word that literally means like, yo, there's a place you can go. Oh, you got 1,000 loyal fans that believe in your art. That's like over 120,000 a year, right? Now what it is, you start off with your T-shirts. Yeah. You're doing your amazing music. You're selling your art. So here's a platform called OpenWav that literally has, now you shouldn't be like, oh man, what do I do? You make the best art. You make the best merch, and you give yourself a fair shot and become your own business.
Yeah, that's dope.
I'd break it down to quality content, meaning great art.
Yeah,
starts there. As you can tell, when I started 88 Rising, there was a lot of content on YouTube.
Yeah,
but I was like, F it. I'm not going to go to the majors. They're not going to give me advanced capital to go sign hip-hop artists in Asia that I'm going to promote in the U.S. So I was like, you know what? Instead of waiting for my own seat at the table, I'm going to build my own table. I raised my own capital from my own Asian mafia, Silicon Valley brothers, raised that first $2.5 million, and said, okay, we're going to create our own content. But my co-founder came from Vice, so we knew what excellent content at a highest level on YouTube was at that time. This is 2015. So we're like, let's make even better content than Vice, right? And so when we made the content and we dropped that Rich Brian Ghostface Killah remix, and you're just like, what is this? And it went #1 on YouTube, trending right away. And then we're doing Rappers React, or we did Diamonds with Keith Ape, and it was just like visually stunning. Again, if the quality of the art, the product, nothing beats a great, and I would say even better word, excellent, elevated product. There's a reason why people buy Louis Vuitton, Hermes, or whatever that is high end, because it's the quality of the content, quality of the product. But part two, back to what he's saying, the business is your customer. So if you have a product, but you don't have marketing, and I'll say number two, the second C after content is community. And that's where we're getting into with OpenWav. We're a one-stop shop music artist direct-to-fan storefront where you can pre-release your music, bundle it with exclusive ticketing for VIP, exclusive merch that can be signed, exclusive content behind a paywall where you're saying, hey, I might have 1 million followers on Instagram and 1 million listeners on Spotify, but that doesn't mean Instagram and Spotify are paying you. They're most likely still not. Yeah. But if I can get 1%, right, literally 1%, 10,000, let alone 1,000, give me $10 a month, that's 120 grand a year. Yeah. So what I believe in 2025 going into 2026 is the social media algorithm myth and lie is bigger's better. Get more followers. Yeah. So the artists get overwhelmed. Yo, where do I start? I only got 100 followers. I only got 1,000. I'm nobody. Facts. Yo, Kendrick at one point only had 100 followers. Yeah. Right? But he was focused on that great art. Right? And then he built his community. Right? And so I was saying when I was literally at the same conference you were at, Music Boot Camp, with Indie Mama.
Yeah. Shout out to Jane.
Right, shout out Jane Lee. And shout out Indie Mama, Asian Power. And and
Asian Power.
Yes, sir. You work for an Asian boss. So you're honorary Asian.
You already know my boss Korean, Anyang Hashamika. He saved my life. I can't even make that up, bro.
Yeah, Wyclef's more Korean than I am.
I'm trying
to tell you, bro. I'll teach you something about that Korean barbecue, boy.
Sir,
Don't let me get started.
And I was saying, there was a brother at that camp that came up and he asked a question after I spoke. And he was like, how do I get started? Me and my brother have a gospel band, but we've sold out a few shows. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
You sold out a few shows? And I was like, bro, the fact that you sold out a show, that means there are customers that love your product. Focus I don't care if that show was 50, 100, or 1,000. Build value for that community, right? And so OpenWave, someone else asked me, an investor on a call right before this, he's like, what would you say OpenWave is? I said, it's a community and commerce platform.
Yeah.
It's a content community and commerce platform.
And I think that's a big part, right? Is the infrastructure. Because when an artist doesn't have the infrastructure in place, they're like, okay, I sold out a show. Then what's next? I just keep doing shows, or like where do I take my fans next? How can I offer them more than just a one-time live performance?
That's right.
And so I think that's where y'all's platform, OpenWave, comes in, because it's like a full kind of like commerce store that kind of builds the ecosystem and the infrastructure, right?
Yeah, think of it like this. Everybody has their own church. Like literally, you know, like my dad was a preacher. I always explain it like that. And I'm like, yo, our church started with me, my brothers, my dad, and my mama, and my aunt, and my grandmama.
Yeah.
That's the church. And then one day my aunt invited one person, heard my daddy preach. She invited another person because the quality of the preaching was just so amazing.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, years later, it becomes the biggest church. Build your own community. You got that chance to just grow your audience.
All right. So what do we do about AI? I have a lot of thoughts on this. I would love to know what y'all think, because I have some very strong opinions about AI. I have a weekly live music review where I go live across all my platforms. People send me their music and I listen to a bunch of stuff. Every week, I'm getting more fully AI generated songs through Suno or one of these other platforms. And it's like, some of it's cool, but my thing is always the person who is typing the lyrics or typing the AI prompt into these platforms and then sending it to my platform, and then they call themselves a songwriter because they typed in some lyrics and then AI did 90% of the work for them. And now, you know, they're flooding Spotify. I looked at this one dude and he must have released 30 songs this year, just this year. And every single one of them are AI generated. And I see this more and more every single week. It's becoming a more consistent pattern. And so how do y'all feel about AI in terms of the music space and its role?
Wyclef's been deep. So he's been like 10 years deep.
Okay.
Like Google DeepMind, music
So,
AI.
Yeah. So I think artificial intelligence, right? Go back to the hood. You know, we have a few games we played before y'all got to the Fortnite. You know what I'm saying? Like my little nephews got to that. But let's go like way back, right? So we had like a game called Pac-Man, right?
Yeah.
So before we had the Sega Genesis, we had another game called Atari. So the thing about it is, I'm gonna break it down like 1 + 1 = 2. The more you into the game, the harder the game gets. Cause you know all the game is doing is machine learning.
Yeah.
So it's watching your moves, and then it's adjusting your moves, and then you start to do the same thing the game start to do. So you start to adjust. So I always start off by telling my students, right, a phrase, right? I always say before we get started, this is the phrase, right? I am the master of AI. AI is not the master of I. Therefore, I am I. And what that means is when you getting music that's like 90% where a computer is doing it, that means that 90% of whatever the lyric the person is writing, right, has already been in the ethers.
Yeah.
So it's coming from a space where, you know, someone dead or someone alive, right?
Yeah.
It's pulling this information as machine learning. Now, don't think about it just in music, but think about it in medicine, right? Whoa. Now we just flipped the conversation. So it's good for medicine because at the end of the day, what AI can do for medicine. I'll give you an example. There's one AI called Crispy discovered the cure for sickle cell, right? So it's able to go inside of all this information and then pull. And the idea of us as creators now, it's man versus machine, right? So in order for us creators, right, to last in this space, right, gentrification is coming in the hood, right? Whether if you want it or not, it's here.
It's here, yeah.
So the thing is, if it's here, is your Jedi controlling you or you controlling your Jedi, right? Because the laziness ain't going nowhere, my man.
Yeah.
The cheat code of, oh shit, I can just get, that's not going nowhere. So the thing is, my question is, are there enough creators around the world to level up, to know that at the end of the day, we are masters and then this thing is a tool. So now, as a producer, I work with Google DeepMind, right, as a consultant, and I'm a purist in music because I showed you from how I started.
Yeah.
And so people says, well, how do you use the music AI tool? This is how I suggest for anybody to use the AI tool. If you're using like 90% of the AI, right, we can't really have a conversation because that literally means that you're lazy and you don't want to study the math.
Right.
So this conversation is not for you. So good luck and keep doing what you're doing. But for the people that's like, yo, what's the most creative ways to use the AI?
Right.
The most creative way is you create your best piece of art from your soul. I don't know, last time you checked, the AI can't duplicate your soul. So that means you do the best song that you can. Now, if I'm in a studio, this is what's dope about AI. I do this song and I'm like, yo, I need like a 12-piece choir from Mississippi. And I need that energy. Now, you literally are adding this 12-piece choir,
Right.
and into this amazing piece of art that you just created. Then you're like, yo, the bass is cool, but yo, I need it more slowed down. So literally, AI is amazing as a tool for us producers. Just look at it as an extended plugin.
Yeah.
Right? Which I call the AI the alien plugin, right? So I say that because we're in the era where the creator have to be bigger. I'm gonna give you last example. So I was telling Jay, next year, which probably is gonna be my last work, unless Miss Hill call me back, Lauren call me back. That's the only one that's gonna get me out of like coming back. You know what I'm saying? When I show up for a show, it's $1 million. Period. That's I'm like, you know, I'm Elton John.
Yeah.
So no cap. So but I was like, yo, what do I want to do in this era? So next year, starting in June, I'm gonna put 7 albums out. The Human. 1 album a week that traces back to 30-year genre. Now what that means is, let's talk country music.
Yeah.
I got a whole album in country music. Yeah, whoa, hold up, Clef. You do country? Now, I'm not telling you I do country music now. Dog, I'm telling you 20 years ago, before nobody knew what it was, I called Kenny Rogers. He was on the ranch.
Yeah.
I called Pharoah Marsh. And I said, yo, let's do something and put country and hip-hop together, because hip-hop don't have a genre. What that means is hip-hop is jazz fusion. It's eclectic. So now, come on, this ain't, when you hear the intro and Kenny Rogers like, yo, this no AI, this gonna be the real Kenny Rogers. Take that for example. Next album is a full jazz album. 7 songs of jazz, real. Next album, 7 songs of hip hop that raised me. R&B, Caribbean gospel, world music, right? This is the Human. Now, which AI can create that, right?
Right.
You can go now and press and say to the AI, do me a country song. It will do a country song for you, but it will not trace your legacy back to you doing a country. So what I'm trying to tell everybody that's listening, stick to that originality. Put in that work. I am the master of AI. AI is not the master of I. Therefore,
I am.
I am I, man. Yeah, I need them to get that, man.
That's a bar.
Yeah, I need them to get that.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Jason, anything you want to throw in?
I was with our brother Timbaland
Yeah.
at his studio
Yeah.
in Miami probably 2 months ago.
Tim's catching a lot of heat right now.
He's got a lot of
getting
heat.
behind AI
And I understand people fear what they don't understand.
yeah.
And that is where the source of fear usually comes from, is when you feel threatened.
Yeah.
You don't understand something. But I think a lot of AI entrepreneurs, whether it's Sam Altman or whether it's the Anthropic, it's don't be afraid of it, embrace it, use it, master it. And so what I saw with Tim, to the point, is something that Clef said, is when you are a master of a craft, let's say specifically producing music, and you're able to use AI as your tool, and as Timbaland describes it, the same way he describes it, he's like, this is the new sampler. And when I heard his 6 songs he played for me,
Yeah.
my mind was so blown away. And my girlfriend was there. She didn't know who Timbaland was. That's why I date her. She don't know nothing about my industry of hip hop. And I'm like, babe, we're going to meet Timbaland today. She goes, what's a Timbaland? Is that a shoe? And I played her 3 tracks. And she's like, nope, don't know him. Finally played her Sexy Back. She's like, oh, Sexy Back? And then, you know.
Everyone knows that one.
We sat in there with Tim, and she's listening to it. I said, do you care if this is AI or made by, you know, a human? She goes, I don't care as long as the music's great. Here's my point. What I saw with Tim was that you had a master musician, a master top 10 music producer of all time, who was laying the 90% groundwork, right, of his master work. But then he literally said, Jason, I vibe code. And he just literally, I want this sitar to sound like from this part of the village in East Bombay, India, and make it feel and sound like this. And then you literally see it like magic. Boom. It just starts to accelerate, innovate, and create on top of your masterful work. So for what he said, I'm that 90% because I don't make beats. I go on Suno and I say, make me a song that feels like Bieber Peaches. This is before all the licensing. And bam, it would give me a track that felt like Peaches from Bieber.
Right.
But that's me being lazy, not doing the work. I have no idea how to make music.
Right.
Again, let it be additive. Let it accelerate. Let it innovate what you've already created. And I think that can be very, very powerful.
But I think here's the problem is that people who don't make music, have never been in the studio before, just the regular person who maybe thinks that everything on the radio now is trash and they can write better lyrics, they're the ones that are going to jump on these platforms and start cranking out a bunch of songs, throwing them up on streaming platforms. Wyclef, is there any part of you that's like frustrated that music has become such a exploitative art form? Like I kind of look at all the different forms of art, whether it's, you know, paintings or movie, music. And when I look at music specifically, for some reason, music seems to be the one art form that is exploited the most, from payout rates to all these different platforms, now to AI, to major label, like it's just, and then botting, you know, it's like every part of music seems like it has become so accessible to people and exploitative. Do you feel that way at all?
I mean, that's definitely a great question. I feel that way when it comes to like the business of music.
Okay.
That's how I feel, right? I feel that Jason says something which is ill, right? So, cause what happened is, so we are creators.
Yeah.
So the war is on. with the man versus machine.
Yeah.
Now this is it's a war of creators. It's not a war with the humans.
Yeah.
The humans are fine. Like, yo, let me take Taylor Swift, mix it with Bad Bunny, give me something, and they going jam, right? So the thing about it is, we are the scientists. So we are the ones like, yo, hold up. You mean the bot just gonna come and take our math like that, right? And keep in mind, so we like the super nerds of music. So in this creation, the gentrification is coming. Like, they're coming and they're going to build. So it's sort of like, to your point, right? I'll give you an example. It's up to us, right? It's up to you to run the race. So I'm doing a song with French Montana and Ross. I have the guitar line in my head.
Yeah.
I can literally trace it and say, play it. No, I pick up the physical instrument.
Yeah.
And then I play it. Not only I play it, then I'm on the video. I'm playing it. You know G Herbo?
Yeah, of course.
All right, so I'll give you some breaking.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say this though. But
Breaking news.
yeah. I don't know if I'm supposed to say, when it's coming out. Tonight, right? So, but I'm on G Herbo's project. You know what I'm saying? And so he did 911. He flipped it crazy. But right, so keep in mind now, coming and saying, okay, right? I play the guitar over, right? I know the riff. I ain't going to tell y'all much more of what I did.
Yeah.
But again, an amazing artist, right, comes in and says, you know what I'm saying? Yo, let me find an OG. Let's put something together. And then the shit's going to be like some Thriller, some Michael Jackson meets Quincy Jones type stuff. So I think that the important thing is that we stay in the race. And in order for us to stay in the race, we have to be ahead of what everybody's doing. So at the end of the day, the frustration will come because as creators, right, we like, hold up, man, we built Star Wars, and now somebody could just go up and they could just put it, and then they're actually driving a spaceship.
Yeah.
That part is coming. But I always say this, you have to use frustration, though, as a fuel for what's next, right? Because family, I've seen, it's hard to tell the dude that went from a donkey to a Ferrari, right? That he doesn't know what next, right? I feel like I'm untouchable from the AI, right?
Right.
Right? And it's like, okay, if I learn how to play one instrument, then I learn how to play two. Then I learn how to play three. Then I learn how to play 14. When he's talking about a sitar with Timbaland, I already know how many string instruments there are, right? So again, as creatives, for us to stay ahead of the game, we have to be, people go, yo, why are you so optimistic? And I say, I'm at the most creative point that I could ever be in my watch. And people go, why? I said, because, yo, I'm competing with the machine. Like, this is a big era. And they go, yo, why the machine not going to beat you? I said, because the fucking machine ain't make the pyramid. Like, the machine is not the original physicist. It comes from man. And at the end of the day, so my question is, are we, the creatives, are we getting discouraged, right, by the shit that we see and by what's happening, or can we rise above that and win and win?
Yeah, and that's kind of my point, right, though? Because, like, was AI music really solving a problem for musicians? Because in the past, if we wanted a sitar or if we wanted someone to play the drums on something, we pick up the phone and we're like, yo, bro, I got this crazy track I'm working on. Like, I want to send it to you. Doesn't that inspire human creativity? And, like, does AI not discourage?
Don't stop that. It don't stop that for me. Like, I bring in my musicians. Like, again, us as creatives, if there's a bass line, I get the AI to play it, then I'm going to bring Jerry Wonder. But while I'm sitting there, it just makes me be able to move faster.
It's more efficient.
With the tool. So at the end of the day, you're right. We have the responsibility. So when I told you that, oh, man, I got the idea with the girl, you know how fast Fruity Loops work.
Yeah.
You get the idea and you're cutting it very fast. As a creative, when the idea's in your head, you want to get out immediately.
Yeah.
So when you says, does AI solves a problem? What it does is it gives a quick solution to a demo of something that you're gonna add to a live element to it later. So that's how I use it. And what does that mean? Yeah, I put the girls because the idea of that 1-3-5 melody is in my head. I need it right now. I don't have these girls. Let me tell you another problem that the AI solved for me. So again, first solution is no, I am going to use the human, but as I create and paint the picture, if I have an idea, I need the machine to be able to do it right away. So when the singers come, I'm able to say this, that, man meets machine. I am using the human. The second thing is, for me, as a super creative man, budget. Coming up, right? Coming up.
That's true.
Coming up, I'm gonna show you something. So this going like, and then you're talking to the right person because I'm like you. Like like we're purists when it comes to the music.
Yeah.
So think about this. I'm doing Killing Me Softly, Fugees.
Yeah.
I can't afford a Fender Rhodes.
Yeah.
And the AI ain't there, and I don't have money for a Fender Rhodes. And damn sure, if I call a player to come play the Fender Rhodes for me, he gonna charge me. I don't have the money to pay him because he got to ship this Fender Rhodes and come play, correct? What do I do? I go in my brain and says, well, now this is me. What did I say earlier? I said, I am the technology. We are the technology. So I said, well, let me get an oscillator tone. Let me MIDI the oscillator and trigger it, and versus it playing boo whole notes, let me like make the notes come out in quarter.
Right.
Then I'm playing this oscillator, and as I'm playing the oscillator, it sounds like the Fender Rhodes.
Crazy.
Ain't no damn Fender Rhodes on Killing Me Softly, right?
Crazy.
Again, right? I use something that don't exist out of the air, which is the technology and the oscillator, to create it. Now, what am I able to do with the AI? I'm able to be like, yo, after I create, yo, drop this Fender Rhodes for me. So again, I think like cost effective wise at times, and then and that's one, cost effective. And the second thing is, as a creator, the minute you have an idea, it's good to set the idea down in a demo until you have the actual physicality of the humans to record that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from. Yeah. I mean, I love AI. I use it as a tool every
What's your
single
biggest
day.
offenses or challenges or problems with AI
I think that for me,
when it comes to music?
it's a couple different things. It's number one, partly the creative side that we talked about, and how people that don't have no regard for
Yep.
the process of making music
Mad Max shit. They just
can now just type in some prompts and then
Boom.
crank out a bunch of music and then call themselves a songwriter or musician or whatever, right? So in that sense, like, you know, I am kind of a purist at heart. But then also on the other side, it's like knowing how the music business is, there are people outside of our space that are going to come in, find a way to monetize it, and then create another form of exploitation that watered down the business. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so again, it just goes back, bro, to everything that I said about like music is the most exploited art form in the world. And for me as a musician and a producer and like, you know, Wyclef's in here, it's like, bro, can we just chill? Like, can we just chill?
He stopped raping us.
Can
like,
we
literally.
have our thing?
It ain't gonna happen. I'm telling you.
It's not gonna
Like,
happen. I
that's
know.
that part. Like it ain't gonna happen. Everybody was talking about ChatGPT, and I said, let me really see how ill this thing is.
Yeah.
As far as like how quick it is with machine learning, and I battle rap my ChatGPT, and I gave it a scheme, and then
That's fire.
and then because I wanted, I'm about to share it. Like so, and this again is solutions because I already know how your brain think. You're a purist, and I'm the same way, and I'm a cynic. So when someone's like, "Yo, this thing is gonna take over," I'm like, "Okay, well, let me see how much the machine learns." So I'm like, "Yo, I'm gonna battle you. What's up?" And he goes, "All right, I'm ready. What's up?" right? So he's trying to talk like me, right? And I said, yo, then I said, alphabet bars. Every two things mean one thing. And then he was like, all right, you go first. I said, no, you go first. Right? Because automatically, if I go first, he's machine learning. Right? So I say, you go first, A to Z. And I said, don't forget, every word you say have to mean two things. And then so it goes. And it's like A this, B this, C this, boom, 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 right? Where's this genius? Where's the thing? Where's that thing y'all telling me about? And then he does A to Z. I said, my turn.
Yeah.
And then I said, A, I know B's and C's, fellas. R.I.P. to Tookie. He got tooken by the Terminator. That's the ex-governor of California, Schwarzenegger. He can get these nuts for executing Crip leaders. You on E or out your effing mind G. It ain't hard to see. Shit is all a conspiracy. They caught my cousin in the H. They hit him with a Rico A. He hit the freeway like freeway. Translation, just another porn for the CIA. Where I come from, AI, you either dunking like Dr. J. You'll get caught up in a drama with a K and get slayed. My El Chapo boys, they will bring the drama to him. What that mean? Like Tay-Rock, they'll carve a M in him, and oh, mama screaming, not my boy, his mob deep, but he ain't P. The havoc cost them the morgue. Wait for my cue before you leave the booth, or you are gonna see this S on your T, make you woozy woo from all that blue. You caught that? I told Superman before he take flight, wait for my cue, cause his weakness is Crips tonight, and all that blue, that's Crips tonight. And why is Uncle Wyclef walking like a zombie, Mr. Technology? That's Tales of the Crips tonight. Look, I'm at the W, they setting up my suite. Dude working on punchlines, making it hard for me to compete. I ran for president of Haiti. They consider my setups a threat. That's why they was dying for me to do a speech in Harlem so they could set me up like Malcolm X. Look, police stopped me, told them don't ask why in the stash box I keep a Glock, cause you and I know they killing niggas. I know you like what that mean. I keep a axe, I'm a rock star like ZZ Tops, nigga. Bars.
Whoa.
Talk to me,
Where's the bomb button? Where's the bomb button?
Well, listen, man.
Cheers,
Come
legend.
on, bro.
Whoa.
Master of
doing, man?
AI.
Well, now
What
AI
are
is
we
going to learn
doing?
from that.
That's right.
And I got another one for him. I got 100,000 where that came from.
Damn.
I'm just saying, man.
Okay.
But this
Point taken.
I'm saying.
But this to
man.
me
Point
is
taken.
back to what he said is
Yeah.
AI cannot originate.
Uh-huh.
It can only copy.
Yeah.
Can't originate, could duplicate.
That's right. It can't originate, it can only duplicate. And it can't recreate true soul.
Right.
It doesn't really feel pain.
Right.
It doesn't understand empathy. It doesn't understand the hardship, the sacrifice. So, you know, the whole time we're talking, I was just thinking of the Yeezus documentary, and when he was making, I think what it was, College Dropout, and he had that choir
Yeah.
in that room, and he's trying to get them to, you know, bring that energy. You're never going to be able to recreate that, at least from my understanding or what I've heard or experienced, where you feel that rawness, right, that is captured through soul. It's spiritual, right? It's not just digital, it's spiritual. And so I think going back to what he said is AI can duplicate, it can't originate. Mm-hmm. And what he just did right there, if I see AI do what he just did right here, I'm 100% rioting.
You're going to sign the AI artist.
You know, machine learning.
Right.
Literally learning.
Yeah, so it will learn, but I'm just saying whoever did the coding and that machine learning, you still, like, we the gods, we the Asiatics, like, you're not gonna outmaster us.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I'm saying. So I just tell the human, check yourself, because is the AI above us, or are we like hallucinating and we letting the AI be above us? So what I do is I just test the theory.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
So let's keep testing the theory, keep bringing them real musicians into the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we need adaptions, we can't afford that budget.
Pull up that AI.
For that French horn.
Yeah.
But going back, how do you, back to AI being a helper,
Yeah. A tool.
a
Enhancement
tool,
tool, yeah.
something that can accelerate make things more efficient. So with OpenWav, I mentioned it today at Brand Week. What's next is we're building an AI agentic music manager that can do 80% of what a music manager does and even better, meaning it has data. So I say, hey, OpenWav AI music manager, which city should I tour? LA, San Francisco? It goes, no, Salt Lake City.
Fire.
You want to go to Chicago because this is where your fans are at based on the data, off of what we're streaming, off of what we're collecting on your social media. What type of product should I make? Based on my comments, based on my likes, based on what people are actually reacting to. Well, you shouldn't sell socks and shoes. You should be selling jewelry and sunglasses, right? Based upon what we're seeing. And negotiate my record deal. What's in this that I should watch out for? So the AI is now able to literally create your music video, your content schedule, post for you, a lyric video. So AI is going to be able to help you as a independent artist that goes, oh no, I don't have any resources. Yo,
There's no excuse.
there's no excuse anymore. That's what I was saying today. Like, you are your own business. We've given you supply chain with zero upfront costs, no inventory, global drop shipping. We provide 24-hour customer service. You just got to design the merch and sell it, right? You just got to make the music and drop it.
Right.
You just got to have a show and we'll host it and make sure you get paid, right? And so you really have no excuse now. The technology's there, the supply chain's there, the AI's there to help you. Oh, I need Scooter Braun. I need a Troy Carter in order for me to break. We're not in that world anymore. Nah. When you get to a certain place and a Troy Carter and Scooter Braun can take you from this to that, right? Then yes, that makes sense.
Yep.
The business human element of ingenuity, business development, that AI can't do. Right. But what AI can do that humans can do, let AI do that. What AI can't do, let it be just AI, and you control it.
Yo, so he hit a point, and for all the creatives and everybody listening, so I think like we all agree, like us, we not going back down from the music. I'm with you 100%. All you cowards that's taking 90% of the shit showing up and like saying like, y'all writers, producers, go ahead with that fake shit. But
That's right.
Generative AI, right? Videos. Right, so the Fugees, Ready or Not, cost $1 million to do, right? And then you got to recoup it, right?
Yeah.
So a great space for AI, and trust me when I tell y'all this, learn every form of AI on how to make your own music video. I think one of the greatest people that I see, like, because I could tell, like, he's the one training the machine to do is Vic Mensa. Like, he's literally... because now we in an era where you can make amazing videos for Hollywood is so freaking out because you could do that with film, right? Remember we had CGI technology, green screen, and all of that. If you train your AI to do music videos, now you're able, and this is good space because it's a space that definitely cut costs from your lyric video, from you actually shooting a video. I wanted to put that in terms too.
Yeah, that's dope. What are y'all's thoughts on hip hop currently not having any spots in the top 40 Billboard charts for the first time in 35 years? Do you think that's a product
I'm gonna
of
let the authorities speak on that?
The music or the labels?
You heard about that, right? So
yeah, of course, I get
everyone's.
So Wyclef, you like being a hip hop legend, like.
Since the Eric B and Rakim video, don't sweat the technique, bro. I've been around.
Yeah. I mean, how do you...
Being in the dressing room with Tupac in a green room in Europe, opening up for Biggie Smalls, driving to get to the Biggie show.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So, like, do you think that's a reflection on the music or the labels or the budgets, or what do you think?
So what happens is, everywhere else around the world has taken what we used to do.
Yeah.
And what we used to do was we were most creative. And we was most eclectic. And like we was like it was like there was no stopping us because ain't nobody sound like the same person.
There you go.
Yeah. 100%.
Right? Everyone was
There you
pushing, right? So everyone's pushing. So now let me tell you, and in different parts of the world, right? It's like, yo, let me tell you, you go to South Africa right now, Brandy will sell out the stadium. The R&B that was the R&B here now is just killing over there.
Yeah.
Right? You got that 90s hip hop that we used to do, right? Where it's just killing other parts of the world, right? You got drill, right? But the drill is just conforming in different parts of the world, and everyone's creating their own versions
Right.
of drills and getting so creative with it, right? We had dance hip hop, right? Where you would have the house music against the rap, right? So at the end of the day, you only have like one of one. What that means is, so you have one Kendrick Lamar, you have one Drake,
Yeah.
right? I'm just showing you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have one Jeezy, one T. I'm just giving you the example. So I'm from the era where it was just so competitive, where it's like Nas, it's like Jay-Z, it's 50, it's Eminem, it's
Yep.
Big L, and I could keep going on that with 10,000. So I think for hip hop to get back on the charts, right, is, I always say, hip hop don't have no genre. Hip hop is the most eclectic form of music because it creates all genres. So all the young blood producers that are listening, really like get back into it and get creative, right? Keep getting creative, but there's a reason. So Dr. Dre, Wyclef, Kanye, Timbaland, I'm just giving you a few like from my era that I could see, right? I would say, like, what do we have in common? I would say from a producer's aspect, if we get with you in the studio, the vision is to paint a complete picture.
Yeah.
And have the listener go with us on what we call audio visual. Like, we take you there. So at the end of the day, I just think like we have to just get to the level. Like, I don't think it's going nowhere. I think it'll be back on the charts. I think everybody just get back on a super creative game and fuck the technology, guys. Let's just focus on, you know what I'm saying? You got enough cheat codes to dig in the crate right now on whatever you're looking for and make it happen. But we've lost that. I see in different countries. Keep in mind, I say I'm a weirdo. And I'm so happy to be a weirdo. That's why every 2 weeks I have a summer jam in a different part of the world. And people are like, yo, it don't matter what generation, like, how could you adjust? I was singing Gone to November 30 years ago when people was like, rappers don't sing. And now you need a hook to even get a record. So at the end of the day, though, I would say if I could like give one game without hating, it's sort of like when you have 40 motherfuckers that all sound the same,
There you go.
it's just hard
Say it.
to elevate. You know
Say
what I'm
it.
saying to you? So, dog, everybody just got to be really individual, cut in the cut. Like Wu-Tang was, you know, and I can talk to y'all like that because you can like look now and you'll see 1 billion streams today, like on records that I do now. So I think I'm the perfect candidate to speak. So it ain't like Uncle Wyclef giving y'all like war stories. You know what I'm saying? Yo, the nigga talking about Vietnam. I'm saying, to your point, we are in America. Hip hop was founded in the Bronx and we ain't on the Billboard. What we doing?
Do you think that there is a void right now in the market, especially in hip hop, right? Because I heard this argument that no other music genre expects you to stop making music after the age of 40, right? But hip hop, for some reason, has always felt like a young man's game, a young person's sport, and it feels very young and youthful, which is good, right? It's good because I think that has contributed to the globalization of hip hop. But then I also feel like at the same time, there's a void in hip hop for like grown folks' music. Like that messaging isn't really there.
Damn, you hit a point, man. And I think the clips
Yes.
They close that gap of what you're talking about, right? So the thing about, you hit an important point. So the thing is, what do you talk about after 40 though? Really, right? I'm just giving you an example, right? So that means that when you hear the Clips album, it reminds you, right? So hip hop do not have an age. Hip hop is the new rock and roll. So why are we not treating it like that? Because you could put Jay-Z against any 19-year-old that you want.
Yeah.
Like, he will do the style of it. You could put Clef in. I'm just giving you an example. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I think that, oh shit, the Clips come out, pushing them come out, right? And they're like, fuck the algorithm. We're gonna like focus on the marketing, but we're literally gonna tell these stories, right? Yo, let me tell you, there's so many stories that I got to tell, right? Because if a kid is like 19, you can't just tell him, oh man, you know, stop banging. Like, you gotta give them something to make them feel like, is there a story? Is there something that's happening in the country? Is there a reason? Is there a way? Is there a reason he should reform himself? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like 15 years old. She pregnant. You know what I'm saying to you? So,
Brenda's
you know, Pac used to talk to her. Tupac used to talk to her. Who's that guy? Man, you in your room and you're writing a suicide letter. You know what I'm saying? And you listening to Ready or Die. You know what I'm saying? Like, so all of these conversations, to your point, I think that the old heads are as important as the new school. So I think, like, moving forward for this shit to survive, new school and old school gotta be dope. But the thing is, old school can't be corny. And what that means is, when you hear the Clips, it's like the Clips is coming out today. Right. So old school, get your bars up.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, I'm from that, I'm 44, so growing up in the 90s, I was a B-boy.
Yeah.
I can't say I was the best.
We all were, man.
I could do a little backspin. But I remember watching the movie that we all remember. And literally...
Which movie? Crush Groove?
Beat Street.
Beat Street. Oh, Beat Street. The king of the beat.
And the whole thing was, yo, you's a biter.
Yeah.
Right? Back then, and even in the 80s and 90s, it was illegal to not be original. Illegal in hip-hop. It was a law. The moment you sounded a little like Jigga, or a little bit like Nas, or a little bit like Hammer, or whoever it was, everyone be like, "Oh, you sound like you trying to bite." Right. And if you didn't come,
be a biter or informer. Them two
exactly. If you didn't come 100% original, you're already out. Right. And so the problem I've had with hip hop, and I'll be honest, over the last, I feel like 10, 15 years, I really stopped listening to it. Right. Because once trap came in, every single BPM, every single beat, every single flow sounded exactly the same. Right. And so if it's going to survive, there has to be lyricism. There has to be. Right. And there's a reason why Kendrick is Kendrick. There's a reason why J. Cole is J. Cole and Bun B is Bun B. And some of these artists that you've been producing for, Christian rap, all of a sudden now isn't corny.
Right.
Sway was on Power 106 like, yo, I'm making a declaration. Christian rap is no longer corny. Because these Christian rap artists, while it's Miles Minnick, whether it's DC3.
You never watch the Christian rappers who be on the battle rap arena?
There you go.
Or like URL and all of that?
Yeah.
Like, be careful. Dog, I'm a preacher's son. Like, preacher's sons are gangsters now. Don't think don't think these Christians that walk around now. They all about the Second Amendment.
But back in the day, Christian rap was like, oh, this artist sounds like Eminem at the Christian bookstore. This artist sounds like Drake. Now, it's like, yo, these Christian rap artists are more original, deeper, speaking more clear truth. Right? That I can actually understand what they're saying. Right? Versus the mumble. So I think you got to go back to originality. You can't bite. And it's got to be, again, about truth? What do you actually speak?
But you said something. So back in the days, right? The algorithm, which was a natural thing, because our algorithms were the DJs, right? They pushed everything. Meaning, like, we knew what was coming from the West Coast. We knew what was coming from Oakland. You know, I was talking about hieroglyphics earlier,
Yep.
Dell, the Homo, sapiens. So the thing is, the algorithms now on the platform, it only pushes one thing at the very top.
Yeah.
Like, meaning, like, 90% of what they push at the top when it comes to hip hop, you know what it's gonna be. You know what I mean? It's no, I think you said trap. I think production has to step up.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying to you? It's like at the end of the day, I think like, so remember we had different genres. So trap's a genre.
Yeah.
Right? We have other forms of hip hop.
Yeah.
Right? So at the end of the day, I think like the genres, we have to step up as genres. The production has to be amazing. And I'm calling on all the producers, like, because I think like what makes me dope and can survive in this era is the game that I got from Quincy. And I think like me and you sharing game is an amazing thing. So I think like Dr. Dre sharing game with someone half his age, it's an amazing thing. So I think like genius to geniuses, I think a lot of like us that are older, like we get like we like, man, we're gonna just keep it moving. But I think it's important that we share information with the new generation.
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
important, I think.
Yeah. I got a question. If the Fugees came up today in the digital era, how would you build that movement? Like, what would you do? Or would you do anything differently?
Okay, so when the Fugees, the way that I can answer that is the Fugees' first album was called Blunted on Reality. And Blunted on Reality was a letter to the Ku Klux Klan. And it was a letter saying, yo, no more. Like, whatever y'all think it is, no more. We, the new generation, we're not going for it. One of the things that we sat when we talk to each other, that's why till today, in any country you go to, they know the Fugees. We started off by saying, we're not going to do music. We're going to be a movement.
Right.
And then music is just a tool for a movement.
be
So at the end of the day, I would say that we wouldn't change nothing. Fugees is short for refugees. You know what I'm saying? The first record would be Ready or Not. You know what I'm saying? And it would come out on OpenWav. That's the only thing.
Let's go.
That's the only thing that'd be different.
Yeah.
They'd be like, yo, who's this underground group?
Yeah. That would go crazy, I feel like.
Oh,
You know?
Yo, you see that beat I did, Ready or Not, till today? It's like still one of the biggest freestyle beats of all time.
Oh,
like
yeah.
any
That's right.
in any country, when someone want to say something,
that's right.
they throw on that Ready or Not beat.
Wow.
They're like, yo, you gonna pay attention to this work.
Iconic. That's
Yeah.
iconic.
It's interesting you say that because our actual tagline is OpenWav is more than music, it's a movement.
Man,
Okay.
and that's
It's
and
about
that's,
empowering
yeah.
artists to be free.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
make
Hey,
money, build sustainable careers.
Yeah. So plug OpenWav. How do people check it out? I know y'all got a contest going on right now where they can win a feature or a verse from Wyclef.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, they could be. They spend a day with me in the studio,
Wow.
right? And you get a lot of game. So like I'm from that era. So you're gonna get game from. I've been in the studio with Avicii, right? So Avicii was like my little nephew. So you get game in that world. I've been in the studio with the biggest country artists, hip hop artists. So we could exchange information. Let me know what you're doing with the music and all of that. And with our economy, you know, you get 5Gs. 5G's like 50 grand. Don't front now, because
That's right.
I already know all of
Pay the
y'all.
rent.
All of y'all doing songs in y'all regions,
Yeah.
trying to get it to pop on the streaming so y'all can get gigs at the strip club. I know that. So 5G's is a lot of money. You know what I mean? Because it's 500 for the strippers. Don't ask me how I know. I ain't gonna talk about it. But just to say, again, to encourage the artists, we bringing back that cipher energy, right? Again, on YouTube, there's so many ciphers and so amazing. So the cipher is called Back from Abu Dhabi.
Yep.
And this song, of course, is like Biggie Smalls. It was all a dream. It's all we saying is like, yo, you know, this is our dream. So think big. Like, don't think small. So Clef was from a hut. He thought big. French Montana thinks big. Rick Ross think big. Dave Chappelle think big. And we just want y'all to, like, think big. Don't ever let anyone tell you you can't be that, because you are that. So give me that 16 bars and let the world know who you are.
Y'all better bring it.
And
Y'all better bring it.
and they know that it ain't a dude that, you know, they heard my alphabet scheme. They like, yo, Unc got bars. We gotta bring it.
Bars on bars.
AI is gonna enter the contest. Be like, I got something for you,
I got
Wyclef.
something for you.
No, but, you know, shameless plug. You go to iOS or Android,
Okay.
download OpenWav, OpenWav, wave like a wave file, and literally set up your artist profile, start uploading tracks. You literally sell tickets to your own event. We built our own event, Partiful, Eventbrite into the platform. You can make merch literally in minutes with no upfront costs, no inventory. We handle all shipping, all customer service. You can literally make merch right now and just sell.
Wow.
And then also drop exclusive content. So drop your next album before you put it on another platform. Just drop it direct to your true fans and start building your church, start building your tribe, start building your 100 true fans, then your 1,000. Start small, and then you can grow to become big. And so OpenWav, it's more than music. It's a platform. It's a love letter from Clef, from myself, as artists ourselves once, and
facts.
still artists today, to say, hey, you have all the tools, you have all the technology, you have all the AI, you have all the infrastructure and supply chain. Now it's about you actually doing the work, working hard, and making something original. And OpenWav is a platform for you to own your original IP and music, and at the same time monetize it and build your community and naturally make a difference. So, you know, that's why we're building it. That's why we're doing it.
It's a movement.
Yes,
It's
sir.
a movement, family, and y'all already know, man. Haitian Korean. Sak pase anyang hashamika.
We're gonna make shirts. We're gonna sell that on
I'm
OpenWav.
telling you, sak pase anyang hashamika. You ain't
That's
gonna go
dope.
wrong,
You
bro.
guys don't know he can
I'm
rap
telling you,
like
man.
in 100 different languages.
Facts.
Like I'm
Facts.
his now I'm his designated beatboxer.
We
So
in
being
the
beat.
technology.
Let's go, Clef.
Let's
We
go.
the technology, man.
Hey. Let's do it.
I appreciate y'all. Jaeson Ma, Wyclef Jean. Thank y'all for pulling up, man. It was
Yo,
good
dog.
conversation.
So I need the beat, bro.
I got you.
All right.
I got you.
I need, yo, I'm right after we get off here, I'm gonna play you one joint. You're gonna know I'm in the zone and I'm
Come
waiting.
on, let's
All right.
go.
He's
Let's
in his
go.
Quincy Jones
I'm
energy
in the
right
zone.
now.
I need you,
He's
Michael
in that
Jackson.
Michael
He's in
Jackson
that
energy
bag
right
right
now.
now.
He's in that
Michael.
Prince energy right now. He's in that Yo-Yo Ma energy right now.
I need you right now, bro.
I love
He's
it.
in that Shohei Ohtani energy right now.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.
Thank you, fam.
Kato on the track.
Yes, sir.
Kato
We
on
out.
the track.
We
Kato
out.
on the track. Thank you
Thank
so
y'all.
much, sir.
Yes,
One
sir.
love.
Thank you, Brody.